What's up YouTube, Del here from Zephyr, and today I am so happy to be bringing you an update thanks to the launch advance for Nouvelles. Now Nouvelles actually received 3 brand new cards, one of them in the form of Chef de Nouvelle, and then we also received Angry Burger and a brand new recipe spell card. So I'm going to take you through the list, show you what's changed. Not a huge amount has, which is actually really good because it means that you don't really need to change your strategy a huge amount, but you've got a new lines of consistency, new direct access, and if you wanted to, you could actually spice this up with the TCG exclusive ritual monsters that we received as well. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you miss out on any more upcoming content. So starting off with the first brand new card, and which is now probably one of your best starters for the entire deck, is the Chef de Nouvelle. So its pendulum effect is during the main phase. If this card was activated specifically this turn, you get to add a non-pendulum Nouvelles card from your deck to the hand. If a monster or monsters is special to your opponent's field, except during damage state, you get to special on this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. If this card on the field is tributed, so this is its monster effect, and added to the extra deck face up, you get to place this card into your pendulum zone. You cannot activate the following effects of Chef de Nouvelle in the same chain. Once per turn, quick effect, you get to target an effect monster on the field, increase its level by up to 3. The second effect is, once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster or monsters except during the damage state, you get to banish 1 recipe ritual spell from your hand, deck, or graveyard, and you get to apply that card's activation effect that ritual summons a monster, which is really cool because not only can you manipulate your levels to allow you to kind of jump up a few steps in your recipe evolution, I suppose, but you also get to trigger that as a quick effect during your opponent's turn, which is really nice. It's something the deck was definitely missing. Then we do play 2 of the Passonnières. So the Passonnière du Nouvelles, I've already pretty much gone over its effect in the previous video, but just for those that are new to the whole art type, you can see that you've got a scale 0 and now a scale 8. So if you control a ritual monster, you get to target 1 monster on the field and special summon this card. Then change that monster's battle position. You can only use each effect once per turn. The monster effect is, if it is normal or special, you get to activate one of these effects. To add a level 1 ritual or a recipe card from the deck to the hand, or you banish any number of recipe cards from the graveyard to special summon 1 Nouvelle's ritual monster from your hand with a level equal to the number banished. You can only use this effect of Passonnière de Nouvelles once per turn. If this card on the field is tributed and added to the extra deck face up, you get to place this card into the pendulum zone. Then the other brand new card is Angry Burger. I really wish it was called Hangry, because then it works with Hungry Burger. Anyway, this one is a warrior ritual and effect. It is always treated as Hungry Burger. Now this is really important because it is always treated as Hungry Burger. It kind of goes to the good old-fashioned rule of Yugioh that you can only have a maximum, where allowed, apart from the forbidden limited list, of 3 cards of the same name. So if this card was only treated as Hungry Burger while on the field or in the graveyard, absolutely fine. You can play 3 of this, 3 of your Hungry Burger. But because it is always treated as Hungry Burger, it basically means that your deck already contains 3 Hungry Burgers, even though you're technically not playing 3 Hungry Burgers, which is why you can't play 3 Angry Burgers and 1 Hangry Burger. So just keep that in mind. So you can ritual summon this card with a recipe card. Monsters your opponent controls must attack this card. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You get to reveal this card in the hand to add a Nouvelles monster from the deck to the hand, and if you do, shuffle this card into the deck. Quick effect, you get to tribute 1 attack position monster on either field, and if you do, special summon 1 Hangry Burger with 2000 attack from the hand or deck, which is why you need to play one of the original Hungry Burger. Then we have the 1 Bouillon base. So what we've kind of done with these ritual monsters now is you can actually rely less on them as playing them of multiples. You can actually afford to play 1s of each one. So we've got the 1 Bouillon base, we've got the 1 Confieres, the 1 Polatis, the 1 Fort Glacier, the 1 Ballon Mure, and the 1 Ballon Grills. So you can see that these kind of evolve from like 1 all the way up to 6, and all of them have really good effects I'll explain now. So the Bouillon base, you get to ritual summon this card with a recipe card, and if it is special, you get to excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you add an excavated Nouvelles card to your hand. You shuffle the rest into the deck. When a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or when this card is targeted for an attack, you get a quick effect to tribute it, and 1 attack position monster on either field, and if you do, special summon a level 2 or 3 Nouvelles ritual monster from the hand or deck. So you can skip straight up into the 2, or you go into the 3. Sometimes you're just going to skip to the 3 to then skip to the 5 and move on from there. So for the Concierge, you get to ritual summon this card with a recipe card, and if it is special, you get to target a spell trap on the field and destroy it. When a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or when it's targeted for an attack, tribute this card and then one attack position monster on either field, and if you do, special on a level 3 or 4 Nouvelle's ritual from the deck. Only use each effect once per turn. Moving on to the Politesse, so you get to ritual summon this card with any recipe ritual, and then if it is special, you get to draw a card. Again, when it's targeted by a card effect or via attack, you get to tribute a Nouvelle's card you control and one attack position monster on the field, and if you do, special on a level 4 or 5 Nouvelles. So then you work your way into the Follow Glass. So then again, when this one is ritual or technically special summoned, you get to target up to 3 cards in any graveyard and shuffle them into the deck. Again, when it's targeted via an effect or via battle, you get a quick effect to tribute a Nouvelle's monster you control and a tap position monster on either field, and if you do, special on a level 5 or 6. For the Ballonniere, this one, if it is special summoned, you get to add a Nouvelle's or a recipe card from the deck to your hand. And again, if it is targeted for an attack or via card effect, tribute in if you do special summon a level 6 Nouvelle's ritual from the hand or deck. This is a quick effect if it was special summoned by the effect of a Nouvelle's monster. And then your Ballon Grill, which is obviously your top one you want to be aiming for. Again, ritual summon of a recipe, and if it is special summoned, you get to negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls until the end of the turn. Then if this card was specialed by the effect of a Nouvelles monster, you get to tribute as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and then you get a quick effect to target an attack position monster your opponent controls, tribute it, and if you do, special on one Hungry Burger from your hand or deck. Only use each effect once per turn. So you can kind of see how each of these is just going to be able to call tribute, upgrade, tribute, upgrade, tribute, upgrade. It's such a cool mechanic of a deck, and I really do love it, and I love the theme of it. So it is really, really awesome, and definitely a fun one to pick up, and you don't even need to break the bank for it as well. Moving on to the spell cards, we do have the Concierge. So this is the Culinary Confrontation. A lot of C's in that one. But this card is probably the best card for the entire deck. So you choose a Nouvelle's Pendulum monster and a Pasiel Pendulum monster from your hand, deck, and or extra deck. Special on both monsters, one to each field. Now the benefit of this now is previously we only had the one Passonnière, but now we also have the Nouvelle's monster, and this one is a Passonnière and a Nouvelle's, and then we've got the Pastiels, which is this one here. So this is the one you'll be able to summon out from the extra deck, you give it to your opponent, and then you obviously get to tribute it, which is really going to start helping you with all your plays. Then on top of that as well, and special on both to one of each player's field. Also this turn you can't use monsters as material for a fusion, synchro or XZs, even a link, except Nouvelle's and Pastiel's monsters. During your main phase, you get to banish this card from the graveyard to then target a face-up monster on the field. It gains 200 attack for each card in your graveyard. Only use each effect once per turn, but this is basically a way of going first and giving your opponent monsters you've got cards to tribute. We've then got 2 of today's menu. So you reveal 2 Nouvelle monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent chooses one for you to add to the hand, and you shuffle the other into the deck. Then you get to add one of these cards from the deck or grave to the hand based on the monster card type added to the hand by the effect. So Beast Warrior, you add a fish, and then a Warrior, you add the meat recipe. So the meat recipe and the fish recipe are as follows. So the fish recipe can be used to ritual summon any Nouvelle's ritual monster, and you treat monsters from the hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. Then if you ritual summoned a Bouillon base or de Nouvelle, you add a recipe ritual spell from the deck or grave to hand except the fish recipe, so you'll probably end up searching out the meat. This is the exact same you get to ritual summon a Nouvelles. However, if you ritual summoned the Concierge de Nouvelles, you get to apply the following effect to change all defense visual monsters your opponent controls tiles to attack, which is ideally what you're trying to do because you want to tribute them off. We've got the one Nouvelle's Restaurant at Table. When it's activated, you add a recipe card from the deck or grave to the hand, and once per turn you get to place one ritual monster from the hand on the bottom of the deck to draw one card. Once per turn during the end phase, you get to take 2 cards from your graveyard, including a recipe, and place them on the bottom of the deck in any order, and then you draw 1 card. Then we have the one of the brand new Nouvelle's Recipe book. So while you control a Nouvelle's monster, all face-up monsters your opponent controls are changed to a tap position. Each time a monster or monsters is tributed by a ritual monster's effect, which is obviously your whole rank up from all of your ritual monsters, your opponent has to pay 850 life points. So it's basically like them paying the check. It's great. And then once per turn, if you special on a ritual monster or monsters except during damage state, you get to target one of them, add a recipe card or a Nouvelle's card from the deck to the hand except itself. And if you do, increase that monster's level by 1. Then the other starter for the entire deck is your Diviner with your Trias. The benefit of something like this is when you use your Diviner, send Trias. Sometimes, more times than not, you want to send the Herald of the Arc Light, but if you've already got what you need, you just go Trias, tribute off Diviner, and that will again you direct access to your Passonnière as it is a level 1 fairy. 2, preparation of rites, because being able to add any of your ritual monsters is always going to be invaluable. 1, pre-preparation of rites, because this one can directly get you to your fish recipe or your meat recipe and get you to your concierge or your bouillon base. So you get the benefit of adding these cards should you want to start everything going. We've then got the 1, counter trap in the form of the chef's special recipe. So when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated while you control a Nouvelle's ritual monster, negate the activation. Then you get to destroy that card, and if you control a monster that was special summoned by the effect of a Nouvelle's monster, if you special summon Hungry Burger, you get to banish this card from the graveyard. Treat as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. So you're going to be able to get more access to a card that is listed as Hungry Burger, so you're going to be able to trigger this so much more consistently. And then for the rest of the day, it's basically up to you whether you want to be playing hand traps or not. I've decided to go with the strongest floodgate cards, and again, these are just floating onto different decks right now, which is why they're in different sleeves. But I went with Droplets, Mold Chummy, and Super Poly. So 2 sets of breakers. It's mainly for going second. Like, going second, the deck's still pretty good, but you do also want to deter your opponent from making their strongest field. Like, you want to make sure that you can break their field while still leading the monster on the field, negate their field, you name it. So you can kind of adapt it as you see fit. And your extra deck is pretty flexible, which is why you can get away with playing all the Super Poly targets. Speaking of the extra deck, we are playing 2 of the Passigniel Converture. So if you have no cards in your other Pendulum Zone, you get to place 1 face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck into your Pendulum Zone. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you get to place this card into the Pendulum Zone. The idea is it's basically a vanilla that you want to give your opponent off of the back of your confrontation, and that just then becomes your tribute fodder for your Nouvelles. Then cards that you can Super Poly into, you've got your Garura, backed up with the brand new Centurion Dragon. So it requires a dragon and a spellcaster, so you're mainly going to be using this against Blue Eyes. This card loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. While you control this fusion summon card, your opponent cannot activate the effects of special summon dragon or spellcaster monsters they control. You get to target a dragon and a spellcaster monster in your graveyard and special summon 1, and if you do, place the other on the bottom of the deck. You're very rarely going to be doing that, if ever, but the other is it's basically like a little floodgate against Blue Eyes. We've got Earth Golem Agonistus for Malice, we've got Mud Dragon, and the biggest shame is that we don't really have direct targets for like Mitsurugis. You could play Starving Venom if you wanted to, but then even with Rise Yells, they'll probably end up with a light and a dark, which is a little bit tricky to get past. Then got the 1 Elder Entity Unce, which is your aggressive fairy you send off your Herald of the Art, off of your Diviner of the Herald. You also can send Herald of the Art Light, which gets you your ritual spell or a ritual monster. We've then got the 1 Chaos Angel, just for going with a Trias, and then your Passonier can get you a light attributed Chaos Angel. Our only Xyz that we play is the 1 Typhon, just because in the particular format we're in right now, Typhon can still be incredibly powerful, especially if you have the ability to ritual summon during your opponent's turn. That could be really useful for you. And then for the links, we've got the generics in the cross sheet, because you're able to set up fusion plays while also being able to set up ritual plays as well, and sometimes synchros with Xyz. But the idea is you have the ability to draw 2, ditch 2, but you also have the ability to revive from the grave as well. Then we play the 1 Dynamondo, the 1 SP Little Knight, and finally the 1 Nephis, the Sacred Flame. Now, I went over this in the last profile, but for those of you that are unfamiliar with this card, as it is a little bit more specific, it requires 2+ monsters, including a ritual. When this card in the extra monster zone, monsters your opponent controls cannot target Nephis monsters in the main monster zone for attacks. This card gains effects based on the number of ritual monsters used for its link summon. 1 or more, it can't be destroyed by battle. 2 or more, it can't be destroyed by card effect and gains 1200 attack points. 3 or more, neither player can target this card with card effects and it gains another 1200. So if you use 3 ritual monsters to make this, very rare, but it will go up to a 4800 base, can't be destroyed by battle, can't be destroyed by card effects, and can't be targeted. So it's just one of them, again, cheap options that not a lot of people know exists. Once you know it exists, it's something you're probably going to want to put into the deck if you're able to pick it up cheaply. And the benefit is you don't need to rely on any other supporting engine. You do have a little bit of space in the main deck should you want to do something like that. But honestly, this is just a really fun deck that I enjoy and like the idea of. And I feel right now we're in a position where people just don't know what the deck does. So you'll be activating all of these effects to tribute off their monsters and they're like, come again now? And it's a really kind of cool deck, a bit of fun, and I really do enjoy it. And I love the artwork of it. I love the upgrade of the Angry Burger. And yeah, I do feel that we could be seeing more support for this deck in the future, which would be really, really awesome as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.